Hi everyone. So the live recording, didn't go down so well. There were interruptions, and it didn't show who was involved properly on the camera. So I'm just going to record it again, and I'm going to try, if I remember, to insert the questions of those that ask questions. Like Eitan Ben Aaron had a question about keeping 2 days. And Chutzaretz, how to do that. I gave him an answer. Ephraim and Avadi also had questions, which I attempted to answer, and we'll see as we go along. So in any case, today, the idea I want to deal with, is an idea given over by Rabbi Sack in his Haggadah. And what he discusses is the fact that we normally, the Vilna Gaon, for instance, attributes very much importance to the fact that we have 4 fours. The number 4 is important in the Haggadah. However, Rabbi Sacks will try and suggest that perhaps it's not 4 fours, rather it's 5 fives. And even though practically we actually only do 4 fours, or maybe 5 times 4s, we'll see in a second, we still need to have in mind that it's actually really meant to be 5 fives, or it could be 5 fives. So what are the 4 fours? To begin with, we have 4 questions. We asked Manishtanah 4 times. We have 4 sons. We have the wise, the evil, the simple, and the one that didn't know how to ask. We have 4 cups of wine drank during the whole Pesach Seder. And we have 4 expressions of redemption were actually intrinsically linked to the whole idea of the 4 cups. We drink 4 cups because, according to Yishami, because of the 4 terms used for redemption, which are Hotzeti, Hitzati, Ga'ati, Rakachti. I took you out of Mitzrayim, I saved you, I redeemed you, and I took you unto myself. So firstly, Rabbi Sacks, again, this is all Rabbi Sacks' idea. I'm just saying over in a shir, because I think it's an incredible idea. He says that there are, perhaps to begin with, another set of 4s. What are the other set of 4s? Now, there are, 4 mothers, but that's not a set, that's part of the song. So where else does the number 4 appear? Or if you count them out, are there 4 of them? So during the Seder Night, we learn out 4 psukim. And we learn about what they're all about. Now, these psukim are from the parasha, which is read when someone brings the Bikurim, the first fruits. He reads this parasha. And these are the 4 psukim. I mean, it's not the whole psukim, but it's part of them. And the Aramean tried to destroy my father, right? The Aramean, Lavan, Yaakov's father-in-law, tried to destroy not just the women, not just the men like Paro did, but tried to destroy the whole of Am Yisrael. And Aramean tried to destroy my father. Okay, that's number 1. Lavan, because he tried to uproot everyone and destroy the nation of Israel. The Egyptians, ill-treated us and afflicted us, that's number 2. And we cried to the Lord because of our fathers, that's number 3. And the Lord brought us out of Egypt. Those are the 4 psukim that through the Seder, through the Maggid, we learn and expound. First, let's see though, those are 4 psukim. So now we have 5 4s. 5 times 4. So we already added on to what we normally say. Normally we say there are 4 4s. So can there possibly be a 5th cup? So, Tana Rabbanan. We're going to ignore the bit in brackets right now. This is from the Gemara Pesach in Kuf Yud Chet. Tana Rabbanan. Revi'i, Gomer alav et ha'halel, v'omer halel ha'gadol to Rabbi Tarfon. Rabbi Tarfon says the 4th cup, you finish halal and says halal gadol to Rabbi Tarfon. Now, some people say it's not the Revi'i, it's the Chamishi. The Kos HaChamishi. Where do you have a Kos HaChamishi? It seems to contradict the Mishnah. And that's indeed what the Ran says. He doesn't say it should be read. He rather says, Rabbi Tarfon disagrees with the Mishnah. Chamishi omer alav halel hagadol. Rabbi Tarfon. Rabbi Tarfon says you read halel hagadol on the 4th cup, on the 5th cup. I'm sorry. The Rabbi Tam amalidin pligay to tinan lo yifachtu lo me'arba kozot shayayin. The Raza, one of the Rishonim, says the Ran is also a Rishon. The Raza, Zachariah Halevi, says that Rabbi Tavon disagreeing with the Mishnah. The Mishnah said that if you are supplying tzedakah to a poor person, you have to make sure he has enough for 4 cups. Here, however, Rabbi Tavon says no, he needs 5 cups. So Rabbi Tavon says no, actually he needs to do 5 cups, and the 5th cup he does al-hagadol. Okay, so how do we resolve this? Is it 5? Is it 4? There are 2 ways of reading it. If we go back, if you see the Revi or Chamishi, which one do we read? So Rashi's opinion is Haki Garsin and Revi Gomer Alav. Rashi's opinion that you read 4th cup. Forget about 5th. There is no such thing as a 5th cup. Rashi says it may say Chamishi, it's a mistake. There's no such thing as a 4th cup. As a 5th cup, I'm sorry. It is in fact a 4th cup. The Rambam says so he should pour out a 5th cup, and he says on it the great Hal, which comes from Hodu Hashem Kitov in Tehillim until Al Nahar Babel, the perk about being in Babel in Tehillim. Says the Rambam that this is an obligation, rather like the 4 cups. Rather, it would seem that it's optional. The Rambam holds that you can actually drink this, but you don't have to. Whereas Rashi says no such thing as a 5th cup. Rambam and the Miri also says that if he wants to drink it, he can drink it. Now we have 2 opinions. Rashi says there's no such thing as a 5th cup. Rambam says there is such thing as a 5th cup, but it's not an obligation. If you want to, you can drink it. However, there's another opinion. That is the opinion of Ran, who we saw at the beginning, who explained that Rabbi Tarfon disagrees with the Mishnah. However, he brings in an explanation how to explain Rabbi Tarfon that it can still work with the Mishnah. That if we say no, Rabbi Tarfon agrees with our Mishnah, he says it's a chovah to drink 4 cups. And it's a mitzvah min al-mubcha, it's the choicest of mitzvahs, meaning you should do it, but it's not an obligation. It's great to do it. Whereas the Rambam says you can do it if you want to, the Ran says, according to this opinion, it's the best thing to do. But it's not an obligation, it's the correct thing to do. It's not an obligation. So at the end of the day, what do we do? What do we do today? Most people pour out a cup, like the Ran and the Rambam, but don't drink it. In accordance to Rashi, according to Rashi's opinion, okay, we don't drink it because Rashi says no such thing. Okay, now, if we take a small tangent, when in modern Hebrew, teku has a meaning. What does teku mean? Teku means in modern Hebrew a draw. 2 teams are playing another team. Barcelona plays, I don't know, Juventus, and it's 2-2. You say teku. Where does teku come from in modern Hebrew? It comes from the Gemara's use of it when there's a machloket, it says tishbi, yiteretz, kushiot, va'abayot. Tishbi will return and resolve questions and challenges. Which is Rashi Tevot for teku. Okay, so that's what we do at the end of machloket. We say teku, unresolved machloket. We say teku. We obviously have to rule in some way, because we can't live our lives in Suffolk. We have to rule, but we'll say that Elianavi will eventually come and resolve if it wasn't clear until then. What's interesting is, what's the 5th cup called? If you're not drinking it at least. It's called Koso Shel Eliyahu. That same Eliyahu, Tishbi is a reference to Eliyahu. That same Eliyahu is going to come to resolve whether you drink the 5th cup. That Kos is named after him. That's interesting. Some people claim that the sheet out there which says the Haggadah is actually written by Eliyahu Navi. As such, that 5th cup being drunk or not drunk is the kosher Eliyahu, and Eliyahu instituted it when he instituted the Haggadah. You could explain it like that. And it could even be equal to the kos. This is what Rabbi Sack suggests. That bit I just said about the Eliyahu Navi being the author of the Mishnah, of the Haggadah, is something I added, but Rabbi Sack actually comes up with the fact that kos shovim b'chuppah, the cup which is broken in Haggadah, in the chuppah, right? The breaking of the cup by the chatan, hopefully gets it first time. It's the cost of Eliyahu. It's the cost of Hamishi that we can't drink. Most people have a tradition of not drinking. So, why did, however, Rabbi Tarfon drink the fifth cup and we drink four? So we drink four because there are four words that describe the redemption. Right? We said Lakachti, Itzalti, Yahati, Otseti. However, he drinks five because there are actually five ways the Torah describes the redemption. What's the fifth? See at the bottom. Right? 4 plus Veheveti. And I brought you into the land. And we don't say that. Rabbi Tarfon, however, drank 5 cups. Why? Because he held by we drink for Heveti as well. Okay. So now we have 2 fives. We have 5 cups. And 5 ways the Torah describes the redemption. So now we have 2 fives and 3 sets of 4 still. So let's continue. Let's see if we can get to 5 fives like Rabbi Sack suggested. And we will be able to because that's what he's suggesting. But let's see how we do it. So the third fifth. We said there were 4 psukim that we learn out. Now we tried to destroy my father, number 1. The Egyptians treated us and the fig dust, number 2. And we cried out to the Lord the God of our fathers, number 3. And the Lord brought us out of Egypt, number 4. However, there's an additional one, number 5. He brought us to this place, the land of Israel, and gave us this land, a land flowing with milk and honey. In similar vein to the 5th cup, which is in remembrance, commemorates the Heveti, bring us the land. He brought us to this place, the land of Israel, and gave us this land, a land with milk and honey. Number 5, the positive number 5, is also connected to us arriving at the land of Israel. And therefore we have now a third fifth. We found a third fifth, but why don't we say it? It actually contradicts the Mishnah. The Mishnah says how to learn out these psukim. Now, obviously, the exclamation marks are mine. The Mishnah doesn't include exclamation marks. It says, start by the bad stuff, and we end with merit, with praiseworthy stuff, right? Which, if you see, in source 1, Aramean tried to destroy my father, tried to completely wipe us out. The Egyptians ill-treated us and tried to wipe out the men. And we cried to the Lord, and then he brought us out of Egypt, right? So we start with something terrible and end with the praiseworthy. And it says in the Mishnah, you begin, you finish with Shevach, you read from Arami or Vetavi until the end of the parasha. Until the end of the parasha. Where does the parasha end? It ends with the end of the parasha 5. But we don't read it out. Why is this so? Why do not read it? Okay, so now, and we'll get to that. By sections of 1 farm. So first, let's just do a quick chazara. We have 5 cups, which only 4 are drunk. We have 5 ways the Torah describes the redemption, and we have 5 verses which only 4 are expanded upon in the Haggadah itself. So this is Rabbi Sack's beautiful answer, and he says like this. So there are 3 missing fifths. The 5th cup, the 5th expression of redemption, and the 5th verse. It's also clear why all 3 refer to God not merely bringing the Jewish people out of Egypt, but also bring them into the land of Israel. The Haggadah, as we now have it, and as it evolved in rabbinic time, is in Maimonides' words, the Rambam's words, the Haggadah as practiced in the time of exile, meaning during the period of the dispersion. The missing 5th represents the missing element in redemption. How could you celebrate reviving the land of Israel when they were in exile? How could they drink the last cup of redemption when they had said at the beginning of the Seder, this year slaves, next year free, this year here, next year in the land of Israel? We continue. This is all Rabbi Sack. The 5th cup poured but not drunk was like the cup broken at Jewish weddings. It was a symbol of incompletion. It meant that as long as Jews were dispersed throughout the world, facing persecution in danger, they could not yet celebrate to the full. One great sage of the 20th century, the late Rabbi Menachem Kasher, argued that now that the state of Israel, many exiles having gathered and Jews have recovered the sovereignty of land, the 5th cup should be reinstated. That remains for the halakhic authorities to decide. Now, Kasher died in the 19th century, I believe, and he also didn't merit to see the state being created. But I think what Rabbi Sack is saying, again, I don't know his source, but I have looked at Kasher and we should see him, but I'm not sure. He's saying that drink the 5th cup because we've been ingathered. You see me saying when it happens, we can drink the fifth cup because that's the beginning of redemption. And it's kosher eliyahu, it's the Heveti. Once we get to the Heveti as a nation, we've been brought to land, you can start drinking the fifth cup again. So why do these three, the cup, the words, and the psukim stay as fours and not fives? Because we're not there yet. You can't say the Heveti. Now, please God, we can. But again, as Ovadi asked in the original shir, why can't we add it? Well, we can't add it because we don't know what the drashas would have been there for the pasuk number 5. If we go back, He brought us to this land, the land of Israel, and that gave us this land, the land flowing with milk and honey. It's not clear if we would have known what the drasha was. The drasha is written down. The drasha is written down on the other pasuk, and therefore it's included in the Haggadah. However, on the 5th pasuk, maybe we can find it in the Cairo Geniza, which we're going to mention in a second. But as of now, we don't have, for the best of my knowledge, the drashas on these psukim, and therefore we can't add it. There are those, Rabbi Erez, in fact, suggest that you should drink the cup today, and he has what to rely on, clearly, because people think that there's an intrinsic connection between the Heveti and the drinking of the 5th cup and our status as a nation. And drink another cup. Drink another cup because we're in the redemption already. Not everyone agrees, but it is a opinion out there. So what are the 4 questions of 4 sons? Now we have 3 fives, 3 sets of 5. What about the 4 questions of 4 sons? Do they remain 4, or can we bump them up to 5 as well? So the 4 questions, as we know them, if you can see my mouse, you have number 1, Manishna Lalazeh, referring to eating chametz and matzah during the year, and on Seder night only eating matzah. Number 2 is on every night we eat all vegetables, and this night we eat maror. Number 3, we on every other night dip once, and this night we dipped 3 times. And on question number 4, we sit, eat reclined or not reclined. During the year we eat reclined or not reclined, and during the Pesach we Seder night we eat only reclined. Okay, those are the 4 questions. However, in the Mishnah, the 4 questions are listed differently. That's fine, that's like the first question. That's the same. However, question number 3 in the Mishnah is listed differently. In the Seder night, in all of the nights we eat meat, grilled, cooked, different manners of cooking. However, on Seder night, we only eat it grilled. And the question number 4, is about dipping, meaning we in Seder night do not question the 3rd question, and we actually add a 4th question in, which is about the leaning. What's going on? How can we change? Rabbi Sack has a wonderful answer. He says like this. This text can still be found in the early manuscripts of the Haggadah discovered in the Cairo Geniza. The text of the 3rd question appearing in the Mishnah, actually in the Cairo Geniza, which, for those of you who don't know, is a collection of, Geniza is when you throw in a respectful manner, dispose in a respectful manner of Divrei Torah with Shem Hashem. Some people are machmir to any Divrei Torah to put in Geniza. We've seen that in the Cairo Geniza that was the minhag because there's so much in there. They found letters, and tons of stuff in there. They found in the Cairo Geniza a very old Haggadah, and there it actually refers to the question about the manner of the cooking of the Pesach. First, to the time when the temple stood and the food eaten at the Seder night included the Paschal offering, which was roasted. Right. The tzli is how the Rav Sack translates tzli as roasted. It can also be said as grilled. After the temple was destroyed and the practice of eating a Paschal lamb was discontinued, this question was dropped, and another about reclining substitute, which makes sense. Reclining becomes more relevant in a time when we stop being as honored as we had in the past, we become enslaved. We're less likely to be reclining, rather more likely to be slaves to others. And that question substituted the question about the Korban Pesach. There used to be 5 questions. So we now have 4 fives. What about the 4 sons? The Rebbe has a very interesting answer. Rabbi Sack has an incredible story about him and how the Rebbe got to know each other. And the Rebbe told him what are you doing for Kiruv, for teaching others? And the Rabbi Sack says the opportunity, this is the story, the opportunity hasn't come about yet. He says you create the opportunities, don't wait for the opportunities to create themselves. I believe that's how the story is written down. So in this case, the Rabbi Sack discusses was their 5th child. Was their 5th child? The late Lubavitcher Rebbe suggests that there is a 5th child on Pesach. The 4 children of the Haggadah are all present, sitting around the table. Even though Russia is attacking Judaism, at least he's come. The 5th child is the one who is not there. The child lost through outmarriage and assimilation. The rabbinic tradition tells us that in Egypt, many Jews assimilated and did not want to leave. Torah uses a phrase to describe the Israelites' departure from Egypt. The Chamushim alu b'nei Israel min Mitzrayim. This is normally translated as the Israelites went up out of Egypt armed for battle. However, Rashi, citing earlier authorities from Midrashim, suggests that the Chamush may not mean armed. Instead, it may be related to the word Chamesh, 5. Sentence could therefore be translated as only a 5th of the Israelites left Egypt, which is a famous Midrash. It may not have just been a 5th, it may have been 50th. The point is, Chamushim Yatsu, the 5th child left, 4/5 didn't. So this 5th child now alludes to the 4/5 that didn't come out. So there's a 5th child, just didn't want to come. And we need to be aware that there are children with challenges who challenge questions. Eno Yodeli Shol, Tam, Rasha, Tzadi. How there are kids out there who aren't in the Seder. Especially this year in Corona, there's going to be many people who won't be able to keep the Seder properly, unfortunately. But this is that will be not intentionally. This year, in normal years, you have people who just intentionally aren't interested. We have to make those 5th children involved somehow. That's the 5th child. So now, if we summarize everything, we have like this. On the left, you see the 4s. On the right, you have the added 5th. So the 5 fives, the 4 questions plus a question, we no longer say. The 4 sons, a 5th son that doesn't attend, the 4 cups of wine, a 5th cup, the kosher eliyahu, the 4 expressions of redemption, the veti, and the 4 verses that are expounded, the only verse that isn't expounded, plus the only verse that isn't expounded about coming to the land of Israel. So you have the 4 expressions of redemption, plus the veti, and the 4 verses that are expounded, plus the only verse that isn't expounded. So we have here 5 fives. So why do you have 5 fives? Why have we not changed it? What are they alluding to? So Rabbi Sack says the reason we haven't brought them back is so we remember and know that we're still missing. The missing 5ths are reminders of work still to be done, a journey yet complete. And yes, we've returned to Israel. Yes, we have had the ingathering and incredible miracles we are seeing. However, the missing 5ths remind us that we are incomplete. We don't have the Beit HaMikdash. We don't have Meshach. We don't have Eliyahu. We don't have necessarily Meshach ben Yosef. There are many challenges that the nation has and haven't yet overcome. And as such, that is why we have 4 4s still. We really have 5 4s because we have the 4th can we learn. But why do we not have 5 5s? Because we are missing. We are incomplete. But the 5 5s have remained there in the subconscious, in the background, to remind us that we have so much more to achieve. And please God, we will do so very soon, maybe in our days.